Today on StampTV, I'm going to show you a fun project featuring the new Winter Cheer StampTV kit. Let me show you the tools and products you need to make this project. First, you're going to need some ink, and the ink I'm using today is the Gina Designs Christmas Pine ink, and then I'm also going to use some of the Memento Tuxedo Black. For stamps, I'm using stamps from the Winter Cheer kit. I'm using this cute little fox on ice skates, I'm using this little pine branch, and I'm using the greeting that says Happy Holidays. For markers, I'm using the Spectrum Noir markers, and the colors are JG6, TN2, GT1, IB1, EB3, and the blender, and I'll mention those again as I color. I'm also using the Wink of Stella clear brush pen, and then I just have a plain white gel pen, and you can get white gel pens pretty much at any big box department store or your local craft shop, office supplies store. This happens to be one by Sakura. It's a Jelly Roll white pen. For cardstock, I'm using the Gina Designs white cardstock along with some of our Christmas Pine and our Ocean Mist. I'm also going to use some of the Christmas Pine ribbon that came in the Winter Cheer kit. And then I have some of our 1/4-inch pop dots. This is what's left of my piece of my sheet of pop dots. You can see all the pop dots are gone, but I'm going to be using strips that I'm going to cut from this particular piece that I normally could throw away, but I want to make use of all of it. Then I'm also going to use a glue dot and one of our wooden elements, and this is one of the Snowflakes. I have a couple of dies here. These are the dies that we carry in our store, and these are the circles dies. I'm also going to be using some scissors, some adhesive, and my Cuttlebug. Now there is one more element that I want to show you. It's something brand new to Gina Designs, and it's also our new Level 1 freebie for those of you that are making a purchase throughout the month of December. This is our new Pefect panels. This is one of them. They come in a variety of shapes and color combinations. This one happens to match the Winter Cheer StampTV kit, which is great. You can see it's got the Ocean Mist in the center and the Christmas Pine for the frame. And I'm going to show you how to use these. These are great card starters. You're really going to enjoy these. And they allow you to make cards, especially when you're mailing lots of Christmas cards and holiday cards. They allow you to make cards that don't have so many layers, but still have that layered look and that wow factor of this gorgeous ornate frame. So let me show you how these work. The first thing I'm going to do is grab my Cuttlebug, and I'm going to start with, let me pull that just a little bit closer to get it into the screen there. I'm going to start with an A plate and a B plate, and I'm going to lay this printed panel down. Now these come in 4.25 by 5.5 inch panels. So they are the size of an A2 card, which is 4.25 and 5.5. But then you can trim along the sides and the top and the bottom to create any size panel you want. You could even cut this whole part completely off and just use this top part for the card if you wanted. And all of our printed panels are printed on our Gina Designs cardstock. So if you add other white elements to this particular card, the cardstocks are going to match. It has that same beautiful smooth finish that all of our Gina Designs cardstock has. Okay, so I'm going to start with the larger of the two circle dies, and I'm going to lay that down onto the printed panel. And you want to make sure that you center that well, and that looks pretty good to me, maybe over just a hair. And then you're going to put the C plate on top and cut. So now I've cut this out. Now I can use this for something else, so I'm going to put this aside. It also has a white side on the back, so if you need a white circle for something, you can just flip it over. And now this panel is going to get layered onto this piece of Christmas pine. And I'm going to do that let me move this out of the way. I'm going to do that first before I get to the next step of cutting. Okay. There we go. All right. So now my next step, let me bring this Cuttlebug a little closer again. My next step is going to be, again, the A and the B plate, and now I'm going to put this whole panel down, and I'm going to take that smaller circle and lay that on the green layer. Make sure that that's nice and centered, and it looks pretty good from here. And then the C plate on top again, and cut. Okay, so now I have a green one, and of course I could layer these together any way that I wanted for another card, which I might do, or I might make a little Christmas tag out of this by adding another little white circle on there and decorating it. So that's a good use for these centers, so hold on to those. Okay, so now you can see I've created this Christmas pine border on the inside to match the outside and the frame. Now my next step is going to be to stamp on another little white piece of cardstock. I'm going to stamp my focal image, which is going to be the little fox that's skating. And I'm going to do that with the Memento ink because I am going to be using my alcohol markers, the Spectrum Noir markers. So let's just get that stamped there. And now I want to make sure that this is going to fit into the center. And you can see I have them a little bit off center, and that's okay. I want to have them off center because now I'm going to bring in my pine branches with some Christmas pine ink. So I kind of wanted to have an idea of where that's going to be on my card. So now I'm going to do a couple little sprigs of these pine branches. I'm going to put one here, one over here, and one coming in from the side here. Okay. Now when I lay this piece on top, you can see that I've got little pine branches kind of peeking through that window. All right. Now my next step, I'm going to put the fox aside for a second, is to get a greeting put on here. And I'm going to do that again with the black Memento ink because I want all the ink colors to match. And this is the Happy Holidays. So I'm going to do that down kind of low because I'm going to add some ribbon and I want to give myself room. So now I have Happy Holidays down there at the bottom. You can see how just this little panel kind of helps speed up your card making, that you didn't have to kind of go through all of that. It's already there for you, which is really fun. All right, now my next step is going to be to color the fox. And I'm going to do that with the Spectrum Noir markers. The first color that I'm going to use is the TN2. And I'm going to color the lighter parts of the fox, his belly, and the end of his tail. And I'm just coloring straight color. I'm not doing any shading right now. We'll do his face and his ears. And then I also want to do the tops of his paws. And I think that's good for that color. Okay. So now my next step, he kind of looks cute as a little white fox too. But I'm going to use a brown. This is the EB3. I'm going to color his body in this color. Just down to the skate. I'm going to add a little texture into this too. So once again, you really don't need to do any shading on this. To get the tail. You can see he's coming together pretty quickly. And that nice little point on the end of this Spectrum Noir marker really makes it easy to color the details. Okay. And his head. And then we're going to add a little bit of texture to his fur. We're going to do that with a blender pen. Almost done this part. Okay. There we go. Okay. So now with the blender pen, I'm going to dab the tiniest little dots all over his fur, just to create a little bit of texture. Can you see that coming up there a little bit? Can go back over it a little bit. These don't have any pattern to them at all. This just kind of makes them, kind of roughs it up a little bit and makes it look a little bit more textured. And there's all kinds of ways to create texture, but I really like this because it's quick and easy, and I'm not an alcohol marker specialist at all, so I just enjoy kind of playing and seeing what things look like, and I did this and I really liked the way it looked. And you can also create a little bit of texture on his belly if you want, and the tail. So there, I have my little textured furry fox. Now I want to add a little color to his scarf. So I am going to choose a color that's very close to our ocean mist, and that would be the GT1. So I'll color the scarf, and I'll color the skates the same color. So he's very coordinated. Then, with a real light color, this is the IB1, I'm going to add a shadow layer around the outside of the fox, just to make it look a little bit cooler, a little bit of a chill in the air. It also kind of makes him glow. And this is a lighter color turquoise than the scarf or the skates. Very easy to do, and it really kind of gives a nice look to your coloring work. Makes it look a little watercolored. Okay, so there we go. And I did have this JG6, which is very similar to our Christmas pine. And what I would do with this, if I wanted to add more texture, is I probably would add some Christmas pine polka dots to his scarf. But now looking at him, I think I'm going to forego that and just leave the scarf the way it is. So now I want to position this little fox on my piece of ocean mist cardstock, and this is my card base. So I want to put this in a position where when I lay this on top and it's centered, that the fox is in the right spot. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to put a little bit of tape on the back of this piece, and then I'm going to position it where I want it inside the circle. Then I'm going to take the card base and position the card panel where I want it on the card base. And this would actually be a little bit easier for me to do if I were standing up, but you'll get the idea. So once you have it kind of where you want it, then just let go and pat it down. And then this piece is going to go on top after I embellish this front panel. Now, to embellish the front panel, I'm going to take a piece of the ribbon, and I think I told you when I introduced the kit to you that this Christmas pine ribbon is kind of a cross between Christmas pine, and then it has a cast of the ocean mist in it, which coordinates really nicely with both colors. It's not exactly either color, but it looks great with both of them, so I decided to use this as my ribbon element. And I'm going to put that right across the card. And yes, it's going to go over the printed panel just a little bit, but that's okay. There we go. And then I'm going to tuck it around the back like that. Okay. Now I'm going to assemble this card and then add a little bit of glitter. And the way I'm going to assemble it is by using some of the strips of the pop dots. I'm going to cut a strip out here. This is a great way to make use of every little bit of your pop dots. Waste not, want not, right? All right. It's also very easy to use it this way. Instead of running pop dots all the way up and down the sides, using these strips, it makes it quicker and easier. And you kind of feel good about not wasting anything. We'll put this one here and this other piece down here. Okay. And now I'm going to peel off these pieces. And put this panel on top, but you can see now it's going to be raised up a bit, and that is going to make the fox appear as though he's in a recessed window. So we'll position that like that. There we go. Now he's in that window. Okay, so now we're going to add a little bit of glitter. I already added glitter to the surface of this snowflake. I'm not sure if that's picking up well, but all I did was take the Wink of Stella pen and just color right over the snowflakes. So I'm going to add that onto the ribbon with a glue dot. One single glue dot will do it. Just put that there. And I kind of like using I thought about coloring this snowflake, either a turquoise or a green, but I thought the natural wood is nice because the fox is all in natural tones, neutral tones, so they kind of look nice together. Now, before I do my glittering, I am going to use this gel pen, and I want to start it first on a little piece of paper, just to make sure the gel's coming out. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add just a tiny little dot going all the way around, and this is going to kind of look like stitching. Just a nice little decoration, very, very fine, just touching the pen to the green rim and going right around. And you don't have to be absolutely perfect. Just take your time and go around, and it'll really add a nice element of design to your frame. And the dots are so small that they kind of look either pierced or stitched. And then the white gel pen does dry just a little bit transparent, so it gets a little bit softer as it dries. And again, don't worry if it's not absolutely perfect. That's the beauty of handmade. Okay. There we go. So there's that little stitched element going around. Then, using that glitter, I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to the scarf. A little bit of glitter to the skates, and a little bit of glitter to the pine branches, so it looks like they're just a little bit icy, or maybe a little snow on them. It's kind of pretty too. It kind of pulls a little bit of that color off of the snowflake into the liquid, and then once that liquid dries, it'll just look shaded. So there I've added a little bit of sparkle. And there is my finished card project. I hope you've enjoyed today's card project. Stay tuned throughout the month of December for more holiday ideas and winter ideas featuring the Winter Cheer StampTV Kit.